What is going on, everybody? What is going on? Happy Wednesday to everyone out there. Happy Wednesday night. Hope everyone's staying warm, man. Hope everyone's doing good. Especially hope everyone's staying warm. Obviously, around Atlanta, it's been very cold these past few days. And it has warmed up a little bit. I don't know necessarily warm up because it's still pretty damn cold outside, but the temperature has gone up a little bit. I know it was real low this morning. It was freezing cold, so it's going up a little bit. I think we got another little one coming on Saturday, but I've looked at the forecast. It should be getting warmer soon, which I think kind of emphasizes what's coming in the near future. But anyways, man, with that being said, first of all, just want for everyone who supported and watched the series, you could say, we've done with the head coaching candidates, looking at them all. I think now we've done we've done like 7 or 8. Let me see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. So we've done 7 so far. Is that right? I could have sworn maybe we did 8. I don't know. Let me see. I could have sworn we did 8 of them. But hey, it's 7, 8, it's something like that. And we've listened for candidate. We've looked at their candidate for a reason. There's no denying it. Their candidates for it seems as well. And to be honest, first of all, I appreciate, all the support that there has been, with all those videos coming out, man, pumping content out, just as the off season, has begun. But obviously we have one of the biggest question marks the team could possibly have, which is we don't have a head coach right now. Well, at least that's the case right now. Because I'm going to go ahead and say, I still might do 1, 2, maybe even, still might do a few more of the coaching candidates and looking at them. But to be completely honest, it kind of feels like a moot point at this rate. Because if you've been following the past few days and you've been monitoring what has been happening, you will know that the Atlanta Falcons have clearly zeroed in on their number 1 candidate and the person they want to be their head coach, and that's Bill Belichick. And it seems to me, at least from what I can say, Jim Harbaugh is a distant second. Now, to me, I don't think that should be the case. I would actually kind of prefer Harbaugh over Belichick, even though I think they are both 2 of the most qualified and proven candidates out there for the job. And I, certainly would, I'd be ecstatic if Harbaugh got it. And I'd pretty much be the same way, if Belichick. Well, I don't know about ecstatic, but I'd definitely be able to live with it. I'll tell you that much. I'd be pretty happy if he got the job. I definitely would, because I'm gonna go ahead and say, why wouldn't you want a proven winner over the course of his career? And you can say all the bullshit you want about his record without Brady, and that's fine. But you also have to, number one, if you're gonna look at these past few years in New England, look at the situation around him and just how that grew. And sometimes you have to split from someone you've been with a long time. You loved each other. You did great business together. You loved working with that other person. But at the end of the day, sometimes there needs to be a split. So with that being said, that's what happened between Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick. And obviously they got their guy in New England who was groomed under Belichick in Gerard Mayo. And that is the new answer. And New England. And it seems like what was once a dream, what was once, kind of hard for some of us to imagine, that a coach as accomplished as Bill Belichick, a coach that obviously broke all of our hearts, and, someone with that lineage could come here, is now the inevitability that he is going to come here. And, a large reason why I'm doing this is because just about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, the Dallas Cowboys announced that they were keeping Mike McCarthy for next season, that they're going to roll with McCarthy one more year. Obviously, that was seen as one of the big contenders to the Falcons for Belichick. And they just announced that they're rolling with their guy again in Mike McCarthy. And I guess you could say the other big contender, which you would say is Philadelphia, it looks like they're keeping Sirianni as well, because I just saw the report that Sirianni and Howie Roseman, they're going and reaching out to coordinators, meaning that, Sirianni in all likelihood is there another year. I did see he's going to meet with the Eagles owner, Jeffrey Lurie. But at the end of the day, it seems like, unless, obviously anything can happen, but it seems as if Sirianni is staying. And then at that rate, obviously, I think it, unless, something absolutely shocking were to happen, and one of these teams were to fire their coaches, I don't see that happening at this rate. There will not be another head coaching opening. And it has been made, very clear that really the only two major contenders that would make sense for a Bill Belichick are the Chargers and the Falcons. And that's really honestly the same with the Jim Harbaugh. Now, the Falcons did interview Jim Harbaugh yesterday, and I don't want to discount Jim Harbaugh. I want to talk about him too, because Jim Harbaugh, I said this from the start, and he still is. If I could have a pick, it would be Jim Harbaugh, because I feel like that there is more of a guarantee you're going to have a shot to go, because you're going to be winning. He is going to come in and make this team a bunch of winners. He's not going to settle for anything. There's the offensive talent. He understands what he's doing with a quarterback. So whether he would go out, and try to get a veteran, maybe go trade for a Justin Fields, or even go and draft a quarterback, he would understand what he's doing with that quarterback. And at the end of the day, you have to understand a couple of key things here, which is that number one, Harbaugh is a West Coast guy. He's a Midwest guy, and he's a West Coast guy. And I feel like, he finds that Chargers job probably most attracting to him, and it does make sense. The Chargers do have a quarterback. The Falcons don't. Now, the one advantage is with the Falcons, and I don't know who wouldn't want to work with Justin Herbert. That's one of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL today. But you could come and pick your quarterback with the Falcons, but he's just a West Coast guy, and you can understand the Chargers feeling like more of a fit. With that being said, though, to me, it feels like Bill Belichick, all signs point to Atlanta. And it points to this is going to be a done deal in a few days. I put it, I even said, earlier today in my Steve Wilkes video, I said it's going to be, the 2 weeks between the conference championships and the Super Bowl. And that's when you're going to have, every team's going to have the idea of who their head coach is. That's just in general. I said that for the Falcons too. I would be shocked if by next Friday the Falcons don't have Bill Belichick announced as head coach. I'm going to go ahead and say, and if we got Harbaugh, listen, I would be absolutely ecstatic, because that's my number one guy. That's who I would want. But both these guys understand they both have something to prove. They both have something to prove. Now, Harbaugh just won the national championship at Michigan, but he still has to win a Super Bowl. He still has that to prove. Last time Harbaugh was in the NFL, It didn't go as it did not end very well, mainly due to, how the power was handed out and how it was split with what was that fool's name? Trent Baalke, I think it was. Baalke, whatever his name was, that Harbaugh had the conflicts with in San Francisco. I see you all in the chat, man. I'll get to the comments here in just a second. But that's the big thing you have to keep in mind. Harbaugh is going to want to go somewhere that he is going to have a significant say, and that's the same with Belichick. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about Terry Fontenot in a second. However, that being said, I don't think I have to go much more into it. Harbaugh is he's a West Coast guy. He's not coming to the Falcons. I'd be ecstatic if he did. And there's actually, I don't know if y'all seen the photo of him wearing the Julio jersey back from the 50th season anniversary back in like 2015. I don't know if y'all saw that, but that is floating around the airspaces somewhere. The Twitter spaces, the internet. It's out there somewhere, man. So with that being said, yes, there's definitely that. But with that being said, it just feels like Harbaugh's going to the Chargers. And by the way, it's obviously known, number one, that, Arthur Blank's going all in for Bill Belichick. And Dallas assuring that they're keeping Mike McCarthy and all signs pointing to the Eagles keeping Sirianni just made Blank's job a whole lot easier. I mean, I would be absolutely shocked if our coach is not either Jim Harbaugh or Bill Belichick. I would be absolutely shocked at this rate. And honestly, I have to say, it feels like it's going to be Belichick. That's just what it feels like. And it feels like it's going to happen here in the next few days. And I mean, that when they met on that yacht on, I think it was Monday, that's where you close the deal right there. That is where you close the deal. And they probably talked everything out. It was just him and Belichick. Now, that puts some people at a disadvantage, and some people deserve those disadvantages. Some people don't, but we don't know how all the structure is going to necessarily work out. But with that being said, he brought him on that yacht. He talked to him on that yacht. I guarantee they probably talked everything out. It probably got down to, where do you want this in your office? Where do you want this? It just has to be finalized. Now, one of the things is that could hold the Falcons back. I don't know if you have to interview at least one minority candidate, give them a second interview in person, because obviously we have interviewed a few. We interviewed Evero in Carolina. We interviewed the guy up in Baltimore, Anthony Weaver, the defensive line coach. I don't know if we interviewed Raheem yet. I think that might be coming tomorrow. But from my knowledge, I don't think we've interviewed Ben Johnson yet. I don't think we've interviewed Raheem Morris yet. But to me, those are pretty much just fill-ins, and and we didn't even put in a slip for a Bobby Slowick. That's really what was, one of the things looking back after what happened, Saturday and how he had that Houston team looking. He didn't even put a slip in for Bobby Slowick, showing that you can't tell Arthur Blank anything at this point. And the fact that Dallas has officially announced they're keeping Mike McCarthy and all signs point to the Eagles keeping Sirianni, and they're just going out and looking for coordinators. Obviously anything could happen up in Philly, but that's what all signs point to. Then I think you got to honestly look at the fact that this is practically a done deal at this point. Belichick is going to be this team's next head coach, whether you like it or you don't. I'm going to tell you something. Whether you like it or you hate it, the real fans will stick around. So all the ones talking about, if Belichick becomes the coach, that's it. That's the final straw. First of all, you know how much of a fucking idiot you look like saying that. And second of all, so you're really telling me that the Super Bowl wasn't the final straw? That what happened the year after in Philadelphia wasn't the final straw? That all the bullshit that's happened in between then and now wasn't a final straw? This hiring maybe the greatest head coach of all time is gonna be the final straw? Y'all don't know what the fuck y'all want. Yeah, y'all, you claim you want to win, but from the way you're talking, you sure don't sound like it. Anyways, man, not giving that any more attention. It certainly seems like, that this is an inevitability, and it's going to happen here in the next few days. So, if I were to honestly put a timetable on it, let's see. Arthur Smith was hired January 15th, and if I'm recalling, I want to say that was a Friday. I think that was a Friday that he was hired. So I would probably, I could definitely put money that maybe Belichick's hired officially. I mean, I think it's all right. It just has to, they have to finalize some things, and they have to go through a few more protocols. Now, I don't know if they have to interview one of those minority candidates in person. If they have to do that, and that could hold them off a few more days before they make it official. But with that being said, man, because the only two candidates he has met with in person are Belichick and Harbaugh. And, all these candidates we've interviewed, man, it's not just like every single one of them are in the playoffs. We interviewed a Gyro Evero. His team ain't in the playoffs. We interviewed the offense coordinator for the Bengals, which if I were to do, another coaching candidate video, he would probably be the one I do it on. But honestly, man, I really don't think I'm going to do another one because it's an inevitability of what is going to happen. That Belichick is the deal has already been made. It just needs to be officially nailed down, and it will be nailed down. It's just procedures have to happen. It's just, how it goes. In business or anything, you want to do something, you're so eager, but there's just a few procedures you have to do, a few things, you have to deal with, do some of the legal stuff, and then you can get off running, with what you want to do. But with that being said, man, this is it. Belichick is going to be this team's next head coach, either him or Harbaugh. And to be honest, between the two, I'd have to put it at least 80-20 between, Bill Belichick and Jim Harbaugh. And y'all, listen, I've said it once, I'll say it again, and y'all know. Harbaugh has been my number one guy. But listen, man, Bill Belichick is a 9-time Super Bowl champion. And regardless of what might have happened the past few years in New England, and another thing, y'all notice, and I don't like this on one hand, I really don't, but on another hand, it really goes to show you they pretty much know who their guy is. They're letting Nielsen interview for that Jacksonville defensive coordinator job. They're probably going to let him interview for some other jobs. They let the special teams coach interview for the Patriots job, that special teams coordinator job up there in New England. So I think they pretty much know who they got. And we know who they got. And it's Bill Belichick. And that's just how it is, man. So at this point, it's just waiting for the official announcement. That's what it is. It's waiting for the official announcement. Now, I will say this, just like Deshaun Watson, anything can happen, because we were pretty much at this stage with Deshaun Watson that Thursday. We're hours away from it. It's just some final things have to be nailed down. And Cleveland literally came in, 23rd hour, 59-minute, and like 57 seconds, and just said $230 million. We'll give it all to you. We'll give you the keys to the city. We'll give you whatever the fuck you want. And why wouldn't you take that? Why wouldn't you take that? So yeah, man. That obviously, anything can happen with the Falcons. And I will say, man, if Belichick becomes a hard coach, I gotta see him stay here at least 3 days. If you know. That being said, man, it looks like all signs are pointing towards the hoodie in the bins. What all signs are pointing towards, man. Let's get to this comment section. Appreciate, I've seen y'all tune in, man. See, Skylar, I see you. Daily Talon says the drafting has been really bad in New England. Guess who did the drafting? Now, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you something. That obviously, yes, Belichick was the de facto GM there for 24 seasons. And when it got to the point where he accumulated those Super Bowl wins, couldn't no one tell him shit, And I kind of feel like, Arthur Blank is going to give him control. He is. But Belichick said at this point in his career, he just wants to coach. And, one thing about Terry Fontenot, there's a reason Terry Fontenot, and we know Terry Fontenot, it has basically been, stripped down to the bare bones in terms of what he can actually do and actually big time moves he can make. And it's sad, man, because Terry could be one of the better GMs in the league. That everything has shown us that Terry knows what he's doing. But there's a reason why he wasn't fired with Arthur Smith. It's because Terry's that good little hand that will just take it. He will. So I really don't feel like, at least as of right now, I could honestly, dare I say, I could see Terry and Bill coexist. I could. I could, I don't know if maybe dare to say even, because I definitely think they could coexist. I feel like they could work well together. Now that 50-50 thing, I don't know about. That's the one thing I kind of go and I say, oh, really? Because that 50-50 power split 50-50 is, yeah, I don't know. And another thing too, Rich McKay, if Belichick is hired, I am hoping will be out of all football operations. That he is going to literally, you think Terry Fontenot stripped of his power? Oh, Belichick not Belichick. Rich McKay, he ain't even going to have the bare bones left. It's going to be, bitch, make sure the bins is right. Go inspect the field so that Belichick can do his fucking thing. That better be what it is. I think it will, because, man, Belichick and McKay do not like each other. They're going to have to put those two on the opposite sides of the building. And, to the point of the drafting, yes, the drafts were not good in New England, but the thing is, he's going to have someone that he's going to be consulting with here. At least he could be. Now, could he come here and take all the power for himself, and they just say, you know what, Terry, I know, we were wanting to see what coach we got. We got the coach. We don't need your services anymore. You can go on back to New Orleans, and I'm sure they'll give you the general manager job in 2 years. They couldn't. That'd be a stupid decision, but Arthur Blank definitely could do that. And then I think there has to be concern there. But Bill did say, and you even heard the reports, Bill was honestly willing to make some changes to stay in New England. It's just Kraft, to be honest, when Brady left, he wanted a completely fresh start, I think, from there. But Bill insisted he would stay a few seasons, and he tried to clean the thing up, and he tried to get New England back to the promised land. It didn't happen. And so Belichick, I think Belichick 71-72. His main two goals are getting that all-time win record and winning a Super Bowl. Now, yes, he's going to still have say in, the roster construction and what the roster looks like and all that. It will be more than Arthur Smith, but I do ultimately think Terry Fontenot will still get some say, and overall, I think they're going to be working together. I'm honestly going to say that, because Bill did say he just wants to coach. Now, he's still going to have a major say over the roster, but Bill did say he just wants to coach. So that's why, yes, you can look at the draft in New England and say it was bad, but there will be some changes with, the Belichick you saw in New England in the power structure, and the Belichick you're going to probably end up seeing in Atlanta, because Belichick is going to be the coach. It's inevitable at this point. The Belichick you'll see in Atlanta. But yeah. Let's see. Who would you rather have, Harbaugh or Belichick? I've already said Harbaugh, but listen, it's going to be Belichick. I'm riding with Belichick. That's just how it is. Listen. Get us a ring, Bill. You got 9 rings. Make it 10. Don't just pass Shula's record. If you come here and it looks like you are, don't just pass Shula's record. Shatter it. Smash it. Make it to where no one's going to be able to even possibly reach it. And most of all, go and get that other ring. Then go and prove you can win it without Brady, which he is out to do. And to be honest, I feel like that's what's going to happen. Bill did say the big thing. I'm going to remind y'all, he just wants to coach. Yes, Dallas is keeping Mike McCarthy. What's going on, Jerry? I see y'all been making some moves, man. Yeah, man. I hope all is well. I don't know what the weather's like down there in Gulfport and on the Mississippi coast, but either way, man. Hope you're staying warm down there. If it's freezing like hell, how it is up here in Atlanta. I wouldn't imagine it is as much, but either way, man, hope you're doing well, man. Hope you and the family are doing well. One thing I'm worried about is that Bill Belichick only coaches for like a season and retires. Now, that is understandable. I think Belichick will coach wherever he is at least 3 years, because he wants to get Shula's record. He does. And he has to have 15 wins to do it. So the odds are you're probably not getting that in your first year. And I don't just think he wants to pass Shula's record by 1 game and then say, okay, that's it. He's going to want to shatter it. So I think he still wants to coach football. That is his one big love in the world. Now, I think all the extra stuff that comes as far as, I don't know if y'all saw, man, that, photo of him, he was at some small ass school in, back fuck Tennessee, seeing a fucking center do his little pro day with 3 other people there, and it was pouring down rain. That's how dedicated Bill been. And this wasn't 20, 30 years ago. This was just like a year or two ago. So Bill Belichick, this might have been last year. So Bill Belichick has the dedication to coaching. There's no denying that. No one can deny that this man loves the game of football. And that is the coach I want here. A man who just wants to win and loves the game of football. But with that being said, obviously, there are the concerns, and I can understand it. That's why I say it is taking a big gamble. It is, because you don't know for sure how long. Listen, he could just stay here 1 year. You don't know. He could, come in and want all the power. This could go wrong, but this could also go very right. But the Falcons need to make the big swing if they want to win. That's just how it is. With that being said, I didn't intend on staying on here very long at all. So I appreciate everyone for coming through, watching. Listen, man. One more thing. Y'all noticed they've been putting out these drops pretty late. They dropped the Belichick news at 10 Monday, and then the Harbaugh news at 10 on yesterday. So I don't know, man. They might, as soon as I want to be selling, as soon as we go off the air, that it's officially announced. I don't see that, man. I really don't. I think it's probably going to be within, I could see it maybe being Friday, which I'll be at SmackDown Friday, and so I'll be down there, in the city of Atlanta, right next to the Benz. Obviously, all the big business is going to be happening up in Flowery Branch, and probably already happened up on that yacht off the coast. I think it was off the coast of New York, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, man, big things are brewing, and big changes are coming. Big moves are being made. With that being said, we'll see you guys in the next one. I would probably maybe say it this right. I might still put out a few more head coaching candidate videos, but this could also be it. I might have also made my last one. But with that being said, appreciate all the support, man. All the likes, subscribers. Obviously, if you haven't, hit the subscribe button, post notification bell, like button. You feel free to share it out. Get the word out. What I'm doing over here, man. Talk of Falcons football. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next one.